Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Thursday, June 26, 2025. Post first round of the NBA draft. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Colin Russo here. We got Damian Perez with me behind the glass. We're at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Next 2 hours, got you covered right here on ESPN 106.3. Also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X. Come watch us or watch back at ESPN West Palm. Check it out there. It's a beautiful Thursday afternoon, and the NBA is at the forefront of what's going on. You have players demanding that they don't go to certain teams, and now certain teams draft them anyway. You have players that are being drafted on a Wednesday night, and they still have the hat of the team that previously traded the pick instead of the team that actually made the pick. You have Stephen A. Smith and a variety of smattering of characters who we know watch a ton of college basketball try to make light of certain draft analyses. We heard plenty from Malika Andrews about the mothers and the cousins of all the draft prospects. My first takeaway is, and I didn't watch the whole first round, and it wasn't for lack of trying. The coverage yesterday was terrible. The draft was not an event. Didn't feel like it. It didn't feel big. It didn't feel important. You were interested in what Cooper Flagg was up to or Dylan Harper. We didn't even hear about any of the players. And it's tricky nowadays because a lot of these players are from international routes. Yang Hansen was drafted in the first round. He's from China. A couple French guys, like the token French guys you get a couple years that you've never seen play. But this draft, I mean, all I could think about was everything they were doing wrong. All I could think about was why when the 10th pick happened, and it's still, and the 10th pick is still a lottery pick in the NBA draft, an important pick, why we were sitting there watching Kaman Maluak, who was the big man on Duke, who had a good year, young player, big-time center. Why we had to watch Adam Silver go up to the center of the stage and say, with the 10th overall pick in the draft, the Houston Rockets select. When the Houston Rockets traded the pick 5 days ago for Kevin Durant. Why does that make any sense? I don't understand why that's important to still show. Because it's the fun part of these drafts looking on in the future is you want to look back at the draft board. You want to look up at the big screen above where Adam Silver stands, above the podium. And you want to see the 1 through 10, the 1 through 14 of all these teams and where they got drafted. The problem is that there was, 12 first-round trades? Might have been more. I think there was 15, actually. Point is, there's 10-plus first-round trades, and they have the previous team that previously had the pick. This could have been 3 trades ago being announced technically as the pick. They had Derek Queen, who hit that game winner for Maryland and had a big-time year. Freshman, was on the Montverde team with Cooper Flagg and all those guys. Getting drafted, 13th overall. Quote, to the Atlanta Hawks when he was going to the Pelicans. Am I crazy for thinking that even on the ESPN app, this is ESPN West Palm. I'm allowed to say this stuff. On the ESPN app, I do not need to see the current team or the previous team, unless it was a day of trade. If it was drafting the rights of a player, that's a little different. Or trading the rights of a player. But when you made the trade prior, why does it still show up as during watching it live, following it live on the app? apps and everything was wildly confusing. You wonder why it's on a Wednesday night. Couldn't it have been, a little more easy to follow? The NFL draft does a great job at this because there's 1,000 trades. They just have the two little logos and a swap. That is all you need. That is all you need. And the NBA is different because sometimes they trade the player on draft night. So it's a little different. And that rarely happens in the NFL. But the way I look at this was there were 17 trades in that. Every pick was getting traded at the end of the first round. And for some odd traditionalist reason, I need to see a variety of different players. And it's funny because there's no picks traded in the first top 9. The first one was Maluak, who was the 10th pick, which is why I noted that specifically. And it's funny because he's going up there and he's putting on a Rockets hat. Why are you putting on a Rockets hat? The Houston Rockets did not make this selection. He's going to the Suns. What? Does that make any sense? Damian Perez, our producer today. I'm sitting there trying to find and I don't follow every single one of these first round trades. The Thunder trade back, into the second round. They trades. They try to tell you what's going on, but you can't follow it. You don't know exactly what's going on. You don't know who has what pick. Entirely too confusing, and maybe the dumbest draft rule I've ever seen. That the NBA tries to stick all these players in the previous team's pick. That, to me, is the most fixable, obvious, dumb issue that I could have perceived out of yesterday's draft in the first round. That is as bad as it gets. Damian, I don't know if you tuned into the draft, but I'm sure you saw pictures of these guys. You've seen it in previous drafts. With all these players they get drafted, and this is their moment, right? This is their moment. And they're wearing another team's hat that they're never going to play for. They're not even going to print a jersey with his last name on it. Is that not the dumbest thing you've ever seen?
And I'm glad you brought this up because I was following this draft, and there was times where I was just utterly confused as to whose pick it was.
Where is this kid going? Where is he going?
Do you think that's a case of just bad communication or just like logistics?
It's a traditionalist thing. They've always had it. They've always done it that way. Which is why when you look at previous draft boards, and I think this is fun, and you can't change everything. Some of these guys move, I get it. But for draft day and pre-draft trades, it is so unbelievably doable to change the logo and give the guy a new hat. It is so unbelievably doable to make it followable. Nobody cares about the previous pick and who had it. You can make a little note saying this was traded via this team. When, Phoenix picks at pick 10 via Houston, I don't need the 17 different lines of, via Houston, who got this from Charlotte, who made a swap with Detroit. I don't need all that. You want to press the pick, then you can figure that out. But for the presentation style of it, on TV and off TV, the idea that we have to sit through and see players that are going to different teams wearing hats of different teams, or the teams that initially had the pick, and even announcing it as that? If I'm a player in the green room, I'm getting confused. Right? You're sitting there wait for a call from a GM. The Rockets are picking next, but Phoenix calls you? Who am I going to? That's just the most obvious fixable problem. And the problem is it was a blatant issue. It was all over the place. It was an obvious issue. I'd fix this tomorrow. I'd fix this before tonight. If I was the NBA and I had a pulse of the fan base, I'd fix this tonight. I don't understand why this is still a thing.
Yeah, totally. For a lot of these kids, this is the moment of their life, getting drafted to the NBA. This is all their hard work, all the success culminating in this moment. Now they have to explain why when they went up, they put on the wrong hat.
Putting on the wrong hat, announcing it as the wrong team, and showcasing it, if you're trying to follow it on an app or something like that, showcasing it as this team, then that team, then that team, then that team. Who drafted it? What general manager made the pick? Please. That's all we need to know. And it tuned me out of the product because If we're going, let's go through the first round here. 10 was traded, 11 was traded, 13 was traded, 14 was traded, 15 was traded, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 29, and 30. Damien, there was one pick, 12 on, that was not traded and actually selected. It was the Boston Celtics who got a Spaniard, Hugo Gonzalez. Now, is that not the dumbest thing you have ever seen?
Considering how much value draft picks have in the NFL to compare it to the NFL, would this look like as something as like the NBA valuing these draft picks or kind of like overlooking them?
I would say it's the NBA trying to do something fancy when it's not. Trying to incorporate draft day trades, and it makes people think, oh, when Kobe drafted by the Hornets, but that was a rights deal. It's different. Just let the guy make it like the NFL. It's not complicated. If the pick was traded, put on another team. Give the guy a new hat. You have a couple extra in the back. That really unnecessarily too. It was a random Wednesday night. A really bothersome Houston Rocket pick when they said Kaman Maluwak was going to the Houston Rockets instead of the Phoenix Suns. That really bothered me. That is the dumbest thing ever. There's a lot of draft storylines that we could follow that we're going to break down. 888-760-3776. Number one, if you even knew there was a draft on a Wednesday night, did you watch it? And number two, did you like what you saw? 888-760-3776. Damien, did you like what you saw?
I'm on the fence as a fan of the game, of the NBA. You always want to root for these drafts, and it's exciting when new talent comes into the league. But it's just, I agree with you in the sense that it was confusing and hard to follow at times. So just things that they got to clean up. But overall, I feel like from a talent standpoint, I'm pretty excited for what we're getting in this next year at the NBA.
I'm excited for the players. It's a good draft class. I think there's going to be a lot of good players coming through. But if I was just watching the draft, we could talk about what players and what teams later on in the show. But just what I saw in terms of a first round, and all drafts take too long, but the presentation should be the bare minimum of making it easy to follow. Because not everybody is tuning in to 3 straight hours of a first round in the NBA draft. We have it tonight on ESPN radio. I don't know why they're doing the second round tonight. Doing the second round tonight? Why? What's the point? We're going to see 2 former FAU guys, South Florida, Vlad Golden and Elijah Martin, who Elijah Martin just won a title with Florida. We're going to see them likely drafted in the second round tonight. That could have been last night. I don't understand why they're trying to make it an event a Wednesday, Thursday. What are you going to do, a Monday, Friday, first and second round? This doesn't make any sense. We're making 64 picks. You could do that in a day. Start the draft earlier. I don't know. I was really thrown off by the whole presentation of what we watched. I was a little thrown off. I really was. It wasn't enough people talking about where these guys were playing, what type of player they were. You think anybody knows any of these European guys coming into the league? When they come in, they try to tell a story. It's interesting there. And before they even talk about who this player is, what he's good at, they start giving reactions. Why did you make this trade? Why did you make this pick? Guys, I don't know who were... I watched a lot of college basketball. I knew a lot of these players. I didn't know the European guys. I didn't know the international players. There were a handful of college basketball players there that I didn't watch. We don't need to give the reactionary stuff before we talk about it. The draft is supposed to be you enlighten the fan on the next generation of athletes. You enlighten the fan on the next generation of basketball potential greats. All right, your team's getting this player. Here's who this player is. The NBA and college basketball fan bases don't necessarily coincide as much as maybe college football and the NFL, where you see it side by side. And I can only compare it to the NFL because the MLB draft is 100 rounds, and the NHL draft, to me, is very regional. But the NBA and the NFL has a lot of notable national names that are drafted time and time again. And the idea is you're supposed to see what these players are about. I don't think they did enough of that. I really don't. Very bizarre when they're doing a post-draft pick interview and there's a Hawks hat instead of a Pelicans hat. What team is this guy on? Because they're not even showing the previous pick. What team is he on? Derek Queen he's not on the Hawks. Oh, he's on the Pelicans. So why did they say that? The Atlanta Hawks made the selection. Oh, Malawak's, what team is he on? He's on the Suns. No, but the Rockets had the pick, but 4 days ago they traded for Kevin Durant, and therefore now it's the Suns pick. Before that, I keep bringing up this Rockets pick because that was the first one I saw. They were talking about the Rockets before the pick. Are we talking about the Rockets or the Suns? Who has this tip? Who has this pick? Guys, eyes and ears. I mean, the fan is not completely in tune. I thought that was bizarre. Change up the logos of who's picking when it's traded. Allow the guy to get a hat of the team that is drafted by him. And talk more about the actual player. Those are my 3 notes. That's it. Those are my 3 notes. We're going to talk to PJ Carlissimo a little later on. Storied coach throughout the NBA and college basketball. Coached at Seton Hall. He was a great assistant under Popovich. Was an assistant coach on the Dream Team. Coached Portland, Golden State, variety of different teams. Has been around the NBA for just about 40, 50 years. And we're going to talk to him a little later on in the program, so stay tuned for that. Let's talk about the actual players. Ace Bailey, most notably picked at number 5, actually, to the Utah Jazz. No trades there. Was made a name for himself pre-draft because he said he didn't want to go to certain teams that were picking high. He didn't want to go to the Philadelphia 76ers. He refused to work out for the 76ers. Was trying to force his way to a certain team. We'll get into what that cost him and now where he gets burned because he didn't want to go to Utah. He didn't want to work out with them. And yet there he goes. We'll get into that. A lot more first-round stories of the NBA draft. It's Russo and Rizzo taking a time out here on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
The Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, an affiliate of the Palm Beach Health Network, is committed to delivering high-quality care to the communities they serve. Their award-winning physicians and specialists provide a level of expertise that has resulted in regional firsts and outstanding patient outcomes. For a physician referral, call 866-654-2362. To learn more about the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, visit pbhnphysiciangroup.com, pbhnphysiciangroup.com to get in touch with the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit 1 checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, proud partner of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
Introducing DQ Grill & Chill's new sauced and tossed buffalo chicken strips. A basket of 100% all-white meat seasoned chicken strips, now being served with blue cheese or ranch dressing dips. The blizzard of the month is the Strawberry Cheesecake Blizzard, a new flavor for the summer, featuring a creamy blend of strawberry cheesecake pieces in vanilla soft serve, dipped in strawberry topping. DQ Grill & Chill with 2 locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters and auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
You heard it, the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. If you've been to car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall, my friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, type to fight for you. They don't charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine today, because that's the Anajar and Levine difference. All it takes is one phone call. Take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation today. That's 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. One thing I hate about, I guess, just how athletes handle the draft process, and I know people like Eli Manning have made it work in the past and the whole thing, but especially in the NBA, when you try to force your way somewhere, part of me thinks it's amusing when it blows up in your face. Ace Bailey, who is projected as a easy top 5 pick in this year's draft, was somebody who was a high upside player, had every tool in the book in terms of shooting, scoring. He's lengthy. He's got tools. He's a project, but he's somebody that, a la Jalen Green, can sort of get any shot he wants. And Ace Bailey was going into the draft process and said, I don't want to work out for the Sixers. I don't really want to go there. I don't really want to go to the Utah Jazz. I don't really want to go to the West Coast. I don't really want to go to these certain teams. I want to go to Washington. I want to go to the Nets. I want to go to all these different teams that are on the East Coast that cater to my abilities. And eventually, this came out a couple days before the draft, Danny Ainge, who's a hardhead in a good way. What Danny Ainge did for the Utah Jazz was he goes, I don't care. You didn't want, you don't want to come here? Too bad. Here's your jersey. Get ready. That's what he did. Drafted at 5th overall. Clearly, he didn't look happy when he got drafted, I'll tell you that. That's number 2. But, one of the most bizarre outward expressions of displeasure that I've ever seen. 888-760-3776, number to get into the program. Draft last night, I thought, had a lot of problems. Cologne in New Jersey, you're on Russo and Rizzo. Cologne, what do you got for us today? What's up?
Hey, Colin. Yeah, I'm a Rutgers alum. Yeah, I'm disappointed with Ace Bailey, But I'm also disappointed, as a Rutgers alum. We got 2 guys drafted in the top 5. Shouldn't the head coach, Steve Peckel, be there, in some way, promoting, Rutgers for having 2 guys in the top 5 for the program? I know they had a bad season, under 500, but I just felt watching that, I thought maybe we see John Calipari there when he was in Kentucky promoting his players and his programs when they get drafted. So I was thinking about that yesterday. And also one last thing, R.J. Lewis from St. John's. He had a few offers for NIL to go to other schools. He declined. I think they're offering like $4 or $5 million to go to either Kansas or North Carolina. He did not. He did not get drafted. Bad mistake on his part. I was thinking, can he go back, to school if he doesn't get drafted?
That's a good question. I want to say he can, but I thought there was a deadline date to pull out. So honestly, he might be locked in. I think he is locked in because there is a date and time that you have to withdraw. And I believe it's like a week or two out from the draft. So he did not do that. So I think R.J. Lewis is either stuck, going to be undrafted, or the second-round pick.
Yeah, well, bad decision on his part. He could make more money staying in school, and I thought that was the positive about NIL guys staying longer because they can make more money, but it didn't work out in his favor.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, man. Have a great day.
Yeah, appreciate the call, Cologne. Cologne's pissed off because Rutgers had 2 top 5 picks and they went under 500 in Big Ten play. How about that? He's every right to be annoyed. How do you have that much talent and you can't put together a halfway decent season? I mean, geez, come on. Really? You can't win a couple. You can't beat Nebraska in a big spot. You got 2 guys who are going to be NBA starters next year. Oof. 888-760-3776 NBA draft reactions. We go to Ernie in Boynton Beach. Ernie, what do we got for us?
All right, let's start with, just like you said, I'll say kudos to what you're bringing up because I had that problem since day one that I've been watching the draft since I was young. Why don't they switch who does make the pick? I've been saying that to myself the longest. I'm glad that, to be honest, you guys are saying it, people who work for ESPN. You know, you're not afraid.
Ernie, Silver's not listening to me. I wish he would. I don't think Adam Silver's making the call because of my uproar, but I appreciate it.
You're setting it. You're starting it up. I mean, let's be honest. I've never heard this conversation being said about this until now. I mean, it's been going on forever. And only now I have people saying, hey, what's going on with this? Why aren't they the team that's actually making the pick? You know, the guys wearing the kid wearing the hat. Why isn't he wearing the hat? Why is it the team that's making the pick on the screen? Is it so hard to get the IT guy to go in and switch it around? I mean, and also, like you said, this wasn't done the day of. This was weeks ago, a couple of days ago, especially with Durant and a lot of these trades that were done. They were done days ago. So why didn't they have somebody switch it around? And another thing about these kids being so privileged that they can't, listen, it's what I'm looking for. It's an honor to be in the NBA.
Yeah, absolutely.
You worked your butt off to get there.
You deserve
and then
it.
You're going to decide where to go?
Right. That's a disgrace. Ernie, the one thing I'll say to that, I mean, he kind of got he got his butt handed to him on that because Danny Ainge doesn't care about that. He goes, here's your jersey. You're going to play for the Utah Jazz for the next 4 years. Get comfortable.
Get comfortable. And now you're going to play. You're still going to play. It's not where you wanted to play, but what do you want? You're in the NBA. Doesn't matter where you're at. You're in the NBA. You made it, kid. Congratulations.
That's
but
it.
Like you said, he was so dejected, that face of his. And another thing, that foreign player, the kid from China, I never seen that he comes out from the stands from a pick.
Yeah.
That was a first. I've never seen that before.
That was a first.
I thought it was a WWE promo. I'm like, is he coming out the
stand? They didn't give him a seat, Ernie. They didn't give him a seat. They didn't give him a table. Well, I don't know what that's the NBA's problem. They clearly didn't have their nose to what certain teams are doing.
They're slipping. NBA slipping. Thanks, Colin.
Appreciate the call, Ernie.
Man.
Take care. 888-760-3776. Why the heck are the previous team's hats who have traded the pick handed out to a guy who's picked? Why is Kaman Maluak, who was a Duke big man, who was drafted 10th overall, technically to the Phoenix Suns, why was it announced as the Houston Rockets pick and given a Rockets hat when the Rockets traded the pick 5 days ago for Kevin Durant? There's not a logical conclusion to why that should be the case. It's always been the case, but why is that? Scott Van Pelt of ESPN, you can hear him on SportsCenter at midnight, a fixture of ESPN programming. He's somebody that Silver might listen to. He had this to say when asked about the certain hats on certain players during the NBA draft last night. Take a listen.
I'm going to scream about the hat situation. It's not any. The league's too smart to have the moment that they've waited their whole life for be a picture in the wrong hat. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know why they can't fix it.
That's Scott Van Pelt, of course, of ESPN and SportsCenter. He said it the nice way. He said, hey, these guys have worked their whole lives for it. He's right. This is their moment. You want to hold up a jersey of or a hat of a team you're actually going to play for. But instead, what are you going to throw the Rockets hat out on your way out the door? 100% right. Fix that tomorrow. I mean, I would fix that before tonight, but I mean, maybe you'll take an uproar like this because I've seen a lot of it online. But I mean, I couldn't think of a more preventable confusion to the common fan who's trying to get into the draft, who's trying to see where players are going. They're trying to see, all right, well what did Memphis do today? Well, who is New Orleans picking up? Oh, I'm a Hawks fan. Let's see what the Hawks are doing. Oh, the Hawks drafted Derek Queen? No. Pick was traded to New Orleans. Oh, what? Why did it say it was going to the Hawks?
That was probably a false excitement or a false hope for many Atlanta Hawks fans.
For the guy who's not totally in tune with what's going on with the 22nd overall pick, can you blame them? Really? 888-760-3776. Thought the draft had a lot of problems last night in terms of presentation. From coverage to how they handled it to the speed of it and to splitting it up into 2 days. Really? Come on. We could do this in 3 hours if we wanted to. Truly. I mean, are you guys setting alarms for the second round?
Is that tonight?
That's tonight. Why is it on a Wednesday?
Thursday.
But why is the first round on a Wednesday? Should we put it on a Tuesday afternoon? Why is it, at least there's nothing on. You can't push it to a Friday night? Friday night, Saturday day? At least end it in 24 hours. Preventable. 888-760-3776. Damian Perez, Colin Russo, Russo and Rizzo with you. Damian, Ace Bailey trying to force his way to a certain teams in the Eastern Conference on the East Coast. And then Danny Ainge says, no, here's your jersey, Utah Jazz. Welcome to the club. Are you a fan of sort of the karma rubbing back in his face a little bit?
No.
Or you were on board here that players shouldn't be doing this, but to a certain extent, if he doesn't want to play somewhere, he doesn't want to play somewhere.
No, absolutely not. And I'm glad it didn't work out. Well, it ended up working out in his favor. He got drafted to an NBA team.
He got drafted to a good NBA team, and he's going to get a lot of opportunities.
But
and
it was a lesson learned for him.
It totally was. And you know how much money he cost himself by doing that?
I mean, he was projected a top 3 pick.
Top 3 pick. I'll tell you right now, Cooper Flagg's 4-year contract is $62 million. That's a lot of money.
Imagine that.
$62 million for Flagg. $56 million for Dylan Harper, who went second overall. Third overall, who's VJ Edgecombe to the Sixers, made $50 million. That is a pick that Ace Bailey could have found himself in if he wanted to work out for the 76ers. Fourth pick was Con Knippel from Duke to the Hornets, which I actually like the pick. I think Knippel's a very good player. That's a $45 million contract. And then you get Ace Bailey, who's got about a $41 million contract. So you're talking about $9-10 million easy that you cost yourself by trying to force your way out. And you ended up not even at a place you wanted to go. What agents are representing these players? If you're the first overall pick, maybe you have a bit more leverage. But these guys don't have leverage in this situation. I don't understand what that is about. The holdouts happen in the NFL all the time. The NBA, you don't see it as much. But these guys trying to force their way around, that's the NBA is a stars league. He almost got a taste that, hey, I want to control my own destiny here. I want to go to a place like the Nets where I'm going to be able to get 38 shots a game and be able to play, close to the tri-state. So part of me, listen, he's an 18-year-old kid. He's going to learn and he's going to play. But I mean, if you're going to sit on this hill, you might as well die on it, right? You might as well say, I'm not playing for the Jazz. Trade me.
Imagine that.
Trade me. I don't want to go play for the Jazz. I'm not playing for the Jazz. I told you I wanted to go on the East Coast. You're not doing it? Trade me. Die on the hill. Now you got to deal with it. Now you got to suck it up. And everybody in the building knows that you don't want to be there. And either out of spite from the fans or from teammates, you got an uphill battle to climb now. Now you got an uphill battle to get back into the good graces of people within the organization. I would love to be a fly on the wall for the first meeting between Danny Ainge, who runs the Jazz, general manager, the president of basketball operations.
That was his first pick, correct?
Yep. And Ace Bailey, their 5th overall pick. Let's end this. Let's end this charade that players wanting to decide. Ernie said it best. It is an honor, a privilege to get drafted to the NBA. NBA players have the luxury, not comparatively, not similar to the NFL player. They have the luxury of, if you're a halfway decent player, you're going to be around for 8-9 years. If you're a top 5 pick, chances are you're getting a second contract, a third contract somewhere. Chances are. But to try to control your destiny off of stuff you don't even know because you never even played in the NBA, you don't have contacts like this. What, do you want to go play for the Wizards because the Wizards have been the stereotype of good news in the NBA the last 10 years? I don't understand that.
That's another thing about the situation because
he's not saying I want to go to the Miami Heat or
right.
the Boston Celtics. He's saying I want to go to the Nets and the Wizards.
It wasn't a case of him wanting to fall for a team who was competing in that Eastern Conference, Western Conference.
It's geographical.
He just wanted to be comfortable.
Yeah, it's
close to home. I believe he's from Atlanta.
Yeah, it's geographical. He wants to be on the Eastern Conference. Welcome to Salt Lake City.
But that just makes it so much worse.
If you want to go to any place, I mean, yeah, you go to LA, it's one thing. You go to San Francisco, it's another thing.
Right, you would understand that to a sense.
Go to Utah. Nothing wrong. I haven't been to Utah. Everybody says it's beautiful. But I mean, geez.
Not the East Coast.
Not a lot of careers have blossomed in the last 15 years coming out of Utah.
But every expert that I've heard talk about his situation in Utah preaches about how this is actually a blessing in disguise for him.
You know what? Maybe it is. Go focus up, figure out how to be an NBA player, and figure it out in a market that's going to give you opportunity, number one, and number two, gave you a little bit of a slice of humble pie coming into the league. Because now Paul George on his podcast, Paul George, wrong messenger, but Paul George even said, this guy should be doing this. You should be doing this. You're costing yourself millions of dollars and you have no leverage. Go be an NBA player first, and then you can decide where you want to go. And he's right. NFL is a little different. It happens a little more often in the NFL. But the one thing I'll say about the NFL is the leash is a lot shorter. The time card is a lot shorter. You could be out of the league in 3 years, less. And that's the same with the NBA. But if you're a very good player, even on a bad team, you can still hang around. You could be a halfway decent player on a bad team in the NFL and still fizzle out. Because you need a good team in order to be good. NBA players can still be good individually on bad teams. It's a different situation. I don't think it's right on the NFL side either, but I understand it to a little bit more significance compared to the NBA. Ace Bailey tried to force his way to the Wizards, the Nets, Eastern Conference teams. Danny Ainge says no. Danny Ainge says, here's your jersey. Suit up. We got the Grizzlies in 3 months. 888-760-3776. We're going to talk to PJ Carlissimo a little later on in the program, do a little 5 and 5 a little later on in the program. It's Russo and Rizzo taking a time out here on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Get ready, South Florida. It's the 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl. Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at FAU's Flagler Credit Union Stadium. Two of the best group of 5 teams go head-to-head in the ultimate holiday showdown. Over 150 players have gone from this field to the NFL. Who's next? Visit BocaRatonBowl.com for the latest, including when tickets will go on sale. The 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl. Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at Flagler Credit Union Stadium.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen. Tonight, it's night 2 of the NBA draft. The picks are deeper, the names are harder to spell, and someone's future G League MVP is getting picked. We go live at 7:30. Catch all the action here on ESPN 106.3 because the curiosity is overwhelming.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar.
Together, we're Anajar and Levine, and our team is a triple threat to big insurance companies.
Don't settle with the insurance companies for a fraction of what your case is worth. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Get your free case review right now. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu. Every Thursday is a Thirsty Thursday at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. Membership is just $100, and all fans 21 and up get a ticket to every Thursday game and a drink koozie, which unlocks weekly drink specials. Learn more at RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Hey, we got Jay Billis, who watches these college players play all season long. I actually think I don't think he's great in a broadcast, but he's great when he's talking about players. Knows what he's talking about, knows these guys, knows the nuances. Hey, we also have Bob Myers, the former executive who put together the Dynasty Warriors, who walked away, wanted to walk into television. Take it easy a little bit. Let's not put them together in NBA draft coverage. What a brilliant idea. Kendrick Perkins telling me about the 11th pick in the draft. Really? Come on, guys. Come on. There was so much negativity, and there's negativity right now. I'm radiating it, but I'm rating it on the negativity surrounding the draft coverage. I was really annoyed by how negative everybody was. Oh. We don't need to talk about the Wizards losing streaks while they're making picks. Jeez. But let's talk about what some of these teams did. You know what's funny is the Nets made 5 picks last night.
I believe they broke a record.
They did. That was the record. For first-round picks in an NBA draft, the Nets, instead of trading some, they selected all 5. You know the crazy part is? About 4 of them, or 3 of them, are international players. So they clearly have an idea. And the other one was Danny Wolf, who was the big man on Michigan, who played point guard, 7-footer. Good player. I think will be a good pro. But, a passer. They're clearly got a type of what they're trying to do. Passers, ball movement, Euro-style basketball. That seems to be what Sean Marks and the Brooklyn Nets are doing. They made 5 picks. An NBA roster has 15 players. They just employed 1/3 of them, unless they sent a couple to the G League, of course. And they have another pick in the second round. They have 6 or 7 new players.
They could be taking the Oklahoma Thunder approach, where we saw in the regular season they were one of the deeper teams in the league, kind of throwing a lot of guys at you. That could be an approach that the Brooklyn Nets are looking at.
I agree that's a blueprint, but what the Thunder have done well is they know when to get out. They know when they have too many assets to trade that for a player. They did that for Caruso. They know when to sort of utilize the right amount of our picks, our assets, and trading forward towards the future. I mean, I don't even think the Nets, they picked Igor Demin, who is the point guard from BYU, as the 8th overall pick, a guy who cannot shoot, good going to the basket, good passer. Took him at the 8th overall pick, probably a little bit of a reach. I think he'd actually be a solid player with a good team around him. Problem is, they got another player, Nolan Traore. Their second pick was a French guy who, guess what, can pass but can't score. So they got 2 of the exact same player back-to-back. Makes you think what these teams are. And you flip to the Suns, who drafted a center and then traded for Mark Williams from the Charlotte Hornets for a first-round pick in 2029 and the 29th overall pick. So they got 2 guys, centers from Duke, who play a lot of the same basketball. Oops, defend the rim, rebound, that's their game. And they got 2 of them now. All right? Well, it's funny because Kevin Durant screamed for a center for about 3 years. And the second he's out of town, we get 2 centers in there before anybody blinks. Interesting. 888-760-3776 NBA draft reactions. Leo, Riviera Beach, welcome into the program. Leo, good to chat again. What's going on?
Yeah, always great to chat with you guys. Thanks for taking my call. It was nice to meet you guys yesterday.
Yeah,
also,
of course.
For the Florida Panthers thing. But I got 2 things. I'm with you, Colin. Like, I was like 0 for 15 on picking who was going to pick next on the ESPN app, because I was like, okay, these teams have a run on guards. shouldn't they pick a forward or a center? And I was wrong almost every time because I'm like, why are these teams picking multiple players at the same position that do the same thing? It just confused the heck out of me. And then as far as the negativity and then players choosing where they want to go, how much do you think the transfer portal and the NIL and everything that's in college, how much do you think that made it a rude awakening for these players that get to the NBA where it's like, okay, now this is where the real professionalism starts? I just want to get your opinion on that. It just seems like they don't know about like the real world when they're just in college. You know, we all have college is always the best time in our lives, but once it gets into the real world, things change, you know?
Yeah, appreciate the call, Leo. The one thing I'll add to that is the NBA player adds substance to that fire as well. The NBA player controls where he wants to go. Kevin Durant just did. Kevin Durant just told the Phoenix Suns, I want to go to the Houston Rockets, San Antonio Spurs, or Miami Heat. Make it happen. I want to go to those three teams. I don't want to go anywhere else. Luckily for him, the Phoenix Suns honored that wish and got him to Houston, who gave them a pretty decent package in return. The one thing I think about on the flip side is, why is Kevin Durant getting his pick of the litter on destinations he could go? If this was the OKC Thunder and he asked for a trade after 10 years there and an MVP, you could have a conversation. If he asked for a trade from the Golden State Warriors after getting 2 Finals MVPs back-to-back seasons and they honor that, that's something that works. But for the Phoenix Suns, who did nothing, who got swept twice with Durant on the team in the first round, who were terrible, did absolutely nothing, and he did nothing too. He's a good player, 26 per game scorer, will get his 27 efficiently, but did a whole lot of nothing for the Phoenix Suns. For Kevin Durant to sit there and say, I want to go here, and for them to honor that, I think that trickles in to some of these players like Ace Bailey, who's saying, I want to go here, I want to go there. It's a different situation, but these players, it's a copycat league. You want to say it is a copycat league amongst how the teams build each other. It's a copycat league with how the players act. Players have a lot of power in the NBA. They can control what they can control, and they will. Agents know what they're doing. But that agent of Ace Bailey had no idea what he was doing. Does that have something to do with the transfer portal too? Absolutely. These guys, get the hell out of campus the second something goes wrong. But I think it's to the nature, Damian, of how a basketball player operates, how it's so individual. That's why players do stuff like that. They don't necessarily think team-wide or big picture. They think, how can I help me personally today, now, and for good? That's my takeaway with that. And Damian, I want to ask you, is this going to get worse before it gets better?
I believe with the culture that's being set, I can't remember the last time a player that was incoming into the NBA that tried to steer his path as much as Ace Bailey did. So with the trajectory we're going, and I'm glad Danny Ainge kind of shut it down, but I feel the culture that's being built, and you just mentioned it, players kind of handpicking their destination in the NBA, although it's not the same situation for a professional athlete who's already been in the league for many years, Hall of Famer, to be picking his destination to as a rookie that hasn't even stepped foot on a court in the NBA be picking his situation. But it's a fine line that we're playing, and the like I said, the culture that we're setting nowadays, I think it is headed in that direction, unfortunately. Let's
lean off of the negatives. Let's start turning into the positives. Let's talk about the Miami Heat for a second. They had the 20th overall pick. I thought they were maybe trading up and try to make a splash for somebody better. But they got Kasparas Jakučiūnas, who is the guard from, I believe,
Illinois.
Estonia, who went to Illinois and was a good player for them. I watched a lot of their games this year. The team wasn't that good, but he was good. 6'6" guard, good going to the basket, classic Euro player, great at passing, can shoot the ball, can score. Struggles with consistency and stuff like that. But I think a big guard with some European skill set can actually serve the Miami Heat well. I think they did a good job here. I think this is a better than decent move and a safe move in the long term, because this guy could have been a lottery pick, Damian. So I actually like what the Miami Heat did there.
Yeah, he was ranked a top 10 talent.
Was he a top 10? Was he ranked top 10?
And a lot of experts had him at a top 10 talent.
And sign me up. He's a good player. And I've watched enough of him, I guess, to have enough of an opinion on that.
And Miami has been searching for that two guard. Well, he's a point guard. Tyler Hero is more of a shooting guard, I would say, whereas the Heat were searching for that ball-dominant guard. They tried it with Terry Rozier. It didn't work out. So it's good to see that they get a shot at someone like this. After, I really wanted Walter Clayton. He went 2 picks before that, and everything kind of indicated that the Heat were in love with him. So unfortunately, we didn't get to get Walter Clayton, but this is a great pick for a player who did fall, and a lot of people were surprised that he did.
And he's younger. So, like, the one thing about Clayton, I think Clayton's going to be a good pro, too. He's older. He's like 23 years old. Yakchunas is 19-year-old. And this is somebody who can play make. I think he was one of the best pick-and-roll players in the country, if not the best. So he's got an NBA skill set. He's going to be an immediate play for the Miami Heat. He's going to be an immediate play. You don't need Davion Mitchell leading the first unit next year. He's a good second-unit player, and actually played pretty well for them. But Yakchunas is a good option. I think he's going to have a good career with the Miami Heat if it goes the way I think it can go. As for Cooper Flagg to the Dallas Mavericks, the biggest no-brainer of the draft, talked about it a bit yesterday. I was under the impression, I still am under the impression, I'm going to talk about expectation for him really quick. He doesn't need to be otherworldly world beater in order to be a very great, I'll say great, first overall pick. I don't think we need 27-7, 26-5, 19-8-7 from Cooper Flagg this year, rookie year, in order for him to be a very good first-round pick, because he's going into a great situation. I'm under the impression that if he gives you 15, 6-6, consistent shooting, good defense, can play well in a big game, I think that's what you sign up for if you're talking about the expectation for Cooper Flagg.
Absolutely. And you usually don't see this with the number 1 picks, To go to a team that were in the NBA Finals 2 years ago, usually see a number 1 pick go to a team that's in the middle, if not just starting to rebuild. So like you said, for him to be coming into such a structure with great players around him, and Kyrie Irving, I know he won't play next year, but he will be around in the building to kind of mentor and lecture him.
He'll be back like January or February, I believe, so it'll be a couple months.
Great situation for Cooper Flagg.
Great situation for Cooper Flagg. And he doesn't need to be great. The comparison stuff, he doesn't need to be a 25-point per game scorer his sophomore year. He doesn't need to do that. You got Anthony Davis sitting there. You're going to have Kyrie coming back. You got a great shooter in Klay Thompson. If there's 3 Hall of Famers around him that all do different things well that he can learn how to do in terms of play, make, ball handle, shoot, and defend, that's all you're asking for. Perfect situation. I'd be floored if I was a Dallas Maverick fan of excitement. I'd be over the moon. Over the moon. He's going to have a great career. And it's not going to be as fast as I think people are under the impression of. I think he'll be good, and that's all he needs to be. He does not need to be great immediately. Damian Perez, Colin Russo and Rizzo. We'll do a little 5 and 5, jumping back into the second hour as well. We're going to hear from PJ Carlissimo, who you can hear on the ESPN Radio draft coverage tonight, which you can listen to on ESPN 106.3. We talked about his career a little bit. Looking forward to hearing that a little later on into the second hour. Taking a time out from the City Play Studios, it's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Hi, it's Luis Fonsi. In the world of music, versatility allows you to capture the moment and create something amazing. Ford SUVs are designed with the same versatility in mind. The Ford Escape or Explorer can make any day a beach day with room for family and all your gear. And the Ford Bronco or Bronco Sport give you the freedom to go over, around, or through almost anything that comes your way. Ford SUVs, perfect for South Florida. See your local Ford dealer today.
Introducing DQ Grill & Chill's new sauced and tossed buffalo chicken strips. A basket of 100% all-white meat seasoned chicken strips, now being served with blue cheese or ranch dressing dips. The blizzard of the month is the Strawberry Cheesecake Blizzard, a new flavor for the summer, featuring a creamy blend of strawberry cheesecake pieces in vanilla soft serve, dipped in strawberry topping. DQ Grill & Chill with 2 locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake.
As market dynamics change, the quality and service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Partner-owned since 1923, Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't. Visit ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, proud partner of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
The weather is heating up and summer is here. Stay cool with EDS Air Conditioning. Right now, qualified customers can take advantage of 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong in sports, not in your home. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8 star rating, EDS is the name you can trust since 2006. Visit EDSisyes.com today. Game day comfort starts now. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
A resort destination beyond compare, yet conveniently close to home. The Breakers Palm Beach offers everything you desire with the service you deserve in a breathtaking oceanfront setting. Immerse yourself in unparalleled seaside glamour and enjoy all the Breakers has to offer as you create lasting memories with those who matter most. The best part, you don't have to travel far to feel worlds away. Visit thebreakers.com or call 1-800-BREAKERS today.
The pricing you've been waiting for is back at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Get a new 2026 Kia Sportage for $249 a month, a 2025 Kia K4 for $199 a month, or a 2024 Kia Telluride for as low as $38,998. Save up to $11,000 off MSRP on select new Kias and get up to $6,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade-in. Job bringing home $350 per week? We want to approve your credit. Call 800 New Kias or visit Greenway Kia WestPalmBeach.com for the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. Make the most of your summer.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
With approval through KFA, stock number SG005991. MSRP $45,235. 24-month leases. K4 $39.99. Sportage $39.99 due at signing. 10,000 miles each per year. 0 security deposit plus tax tag and $9.99 admin fee. Discount includes all Kia factory rebates to dealer. Negative equity refinanced. Offers don't combine. Expires July 15th, 25.
It's Theo Dorsey, and I'm feeling hot, hot, hot. Temperatures are up, but your water shouldn't be full of mystery floaties. Culligan's got your back with water testing and reverse osmosis systems to keep things clean, cool, and crisp this summer. And get this, you can try it for just $10 a month. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and stop drinking who knows what. Visit Culligan.com today to schedule your free water test.
Hey, Culligan man!
Mike Rizzo here with the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management program. Arguably the most successful and recognized team in the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers, have officially been sold. $10 billion. The Buss family has agreed to sell a majority stake of the Los Angeles Lakers to businessman Mark Walter. $10 billion. Let's rewind back to 1979, where Dr. Jerry Buss purchased the Los Angeles Lakers, the Forum, and the Los Angeles Kings for $67.5 million. The Buss family, great players and coaches, made the Lakers what they are today, but it's a new chapter. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management program. Accelerate your career in sports with the program committed to developing top-notch executives and managers with a focus on the job placement for students and graduates. The FAU MBA in Sport Management program.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo. Live Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Second hour, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, no Mike Rizzo today, away on a wedding. Not his, somebody else's. Damian Press helping us out behind the glass at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach at the City Place. Missed any of the show today? Go listen back. Russo and Rizzo, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. Or go watch back. See our pretty faces on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. NBA draft first round away and done with. You got the second round, which you can hear tonight on ESPN 106.3. Live coverage. PJ Carlissimo will be on the coverage on the radio side. We're going to talk to PJ in just about 15 minutes, so stay tuned for that. Damian, I think it's time for us to bounce around, have a little fun. Let's do a little 5 to 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union.
Let's do it.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with boost checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
Ace Bailey reportedly tried to steer his way to a preferred NBA destination ahead of the draft. Should top prospects like Ace Bailey be allowed to handpick their teams, or does that cross the line in the NBA draft process?
I'm glad that the Utah Jazz had the stones to pick him up, 5th overall, regardless, because he's a good player. He's a top 5 worthy player. To allow a guy to kind of forge his own path, it's not free agency. It is a draft. Damian, it is a draft. This is not the time to decide your own destiny. Play 4 years, play well, and then you can decide where your next 4 years are going to be if you want to do it that way. But then you're risking all the extensions and stuff like that. Fine. All right, you got to give up a little money. But that's the nature of the NBA. You don't get to go where you want to go. You're not the first guy ever that went to a place maybe he didn't want to go. Maybe not close to family. I hate to spite an 18-year-old, but this is a bad precedent to be set if this worked. I'm okay with the Utah Jazz making a pick there. And even though the Utah Jazz have not been a very good organization in terms of developing talent the last couple of years, we'll see what he does. All right, now you get everything to prove because everybody's against you here. And even the fans and the guys in the locker room are going to know that you don't want to be there. So now you got to prove it to them that you do. Let's move on. Number 2.
Number 2.
Cooper Flagg drafted number 1 overall to a great situation being the Dallas Mavericks. Are we looking at the next big thing?
Damian, I'm curious on your thoughts as well. I think we are. I don't think we're looking at a LeBron-level prospect, a Durant-level prospect. I don't think we're there. But I think we're going to be looking at a guy who's a 20-plus point per game scorer for a number of years in the NBA, which I think people would sign up for. Like Paolo Banchero, for example, the first overall pick. I mean, it was 3 years ago. He's still got a whole career ahead of him. That guy's going to be been a 20-something point per game scorer. He's been a good player. Is he going to be an all-time great? Yet to be seen. But he's not the level of what Wembanyama is, just off of the potential alone. I lean on the side that Flagg is going to be a very important player on a lot of very important teams. He could shoot. He can move the ball. He can rebound. He's a good defender. He's savvy. He's smart. He gets it. He's young. I think that what I saw at Duke, he got better as the year went along. Am I looking at the next groundbreaking prospect? My answer to that is let's find out. I can't say that declaration now. I was very impressed. He's a high motor player. I thought Zion would be the same thing. I thought Zion was a no-doubter in 2019. Damon, you on board with that?
Yeah, I think to the Zion comparison, there's 2 different franchises. We're talking about the Dallas Mavericks, which I think right now are a better situation than what the Pelicans were. But I agree with you. I think he's going to be a great player, both on the offensive and defensive side of the court. I mean, he showed it playing with the U.S. men's national team. So overall, great player. He's going to be an all-star for many years. I don't know if he'll be the next big thing. I feel like we say that about every number one pick every year.
You think the NBA is going to hitch their wagon to him?
It's easy to do that. I feel like he's a
they're
very marketable guy.
They're desperate for somebody like him.
Yeah, I think they will. And I see him having a career. You mentioned Banchero or Jason Tatum, something along those lines.
Right. I think the NBA really wants an American star that, like the guys who dominate the league. We're talking about Doncic. We're talking about Gilgeous-Alexander. We're talking about, Embiid a couple of years ago, Jokic. These guys are studs. These guys are awesome, but they're not American stars. If you don't think that has something to do with the public interest of the NBA, you're wrong. There's a reason that we hear Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and LeBron James, if not they're playing. They are the three focal points, and you think it's going to get any better? You think it's going to get any quieter? It's not. Not with all the injuries that have happened, especially in the Eastern Conference. You're going to get another round of LeBron, KD, and Steph until there is no milk left in that cow. That is just the bottom line. I think the NBA wants a little bit of a passing of the torch moment. Similar to when LeBron retired, they want somebody to pick up the slack. Jordan started in 04, retired in 03 for the last time. In 03, LeBron picked up the slack right from there. Maybe they're looking for somebody to kind of do the same. Is that going to be somebody like Flag? It remains to be seen. But I think we're looking at a player who's going to be he's very fortunate that he's already on a talented team with a lot of players. Comparatively, him going to the Mavericks and Ace Bailey going to the Jazz, night and day situations. Bailey's going to be asked to carry the horse and then drive it, but Cooper Flag's just going to need to do what Cooper Flag does. Help us win the game. Great situation for him. He's got an awesome potential start to his career. Number 3.
22-year-old White Sox fan banned indefinitely for trash-talking Ketel Marte about his late mother. Are fans out of control?
After something like that, you got to say yes, right?
It's crossing the line in every aspect
That's
of it.
That's it. And you saw the D-backs and the White Sox rally around him in the second game of that series. Good for them, number one. But, that was a heartbreaking moment. Really was. He was in tears on the field. And a fan was banned indefinitely for that? Good. From all MLB ballparks, too. Don't let him back in. There's no place for that in sports. And I do think fans get entirely too emotional. You know what adds to it? I think gambling does add to it.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Because people have financial contributions into these teams now. But I think you're right. The fans are out of control. There is such a wide variety of types of fans in terms of the nasty things that they could say versus, pretty pleasant fans comparatively. It really is. It's a city-by-city thing, and sometimes you have a bad egg that ruins the whole bunch. That's pretty soft. That's pretty bad. I'm glad that that kid got banned indefinitely because there's no place for that. There really isn't. Let's be smarter than that, right? Geez. That was a tough scene. God. I'm glad the teams handled it properly. I'm glad the MLB acted swiftly on it. Because it's easy to get these players' attention, especially at a baseball game. It's loud. It's not that loud if you're in a decent spot.
A lot of breaks, too.
A lot of breaks. You could get a hold of these players if you wanted to. How does a person, as a fan, a sports fan, you paid money to be there, heckling a player, because he's not playing well is one thing. You're paying him a lot of money. You want to give Juan Soto some crap. That's one thing. But to talk about somebody's family, I don't know about that. Come on.
Do you think
you got to just think a little bit? How can somebody be so stupid and so disrespectful to say something like that? Unbelievable.
Do you think the fan thought Marte was going to react that way if he did hear?
I hope he regrets it. I hope there's a immense amount of regret and embarrassment in whoever that person is.
Embarrassment, that's the word.
Humiliation. I hope and they're protecting the guy's name. I don't know why they're doing that. But the problem is you put the guy's name out there, and then all of a sudden everybody else who are also nasty are going to go after him. The nasty world. God, no place for that. Number 4.
4 guys from the same high school team, Montverde in 2014, were first-round picks. Is recruitment making basketball too lopsided at a youth level?
There's 5 potential players that could have been draft picks from that team alone. Cooper Flagg, McNeely, Liam McNeely, who's a UConn guy who was drafted 28th overall, should have been higher. Derek Queen, Asa Newell. That's 4 guys in the first round from one specific high school lineup. And you talk about how, it's sort of getting a little top-heavy. Certain teams, and you went to Montford.
Yeah, they've been doing this for years.
They've been doing it for years.
Ben Simmons, Bankero,
It's a
Cunningham.
college program.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, it's just widening the gap an egregious amount between certain high schools and how much resources they have versus others. You saw, what is it, IMG? IMG is the same way.
Yeah.
They just pour out talent year in and year out. It's becoming a little lopsided, These guys are treating their high school like college, get to decide and pick where they want to go. And they do it in the college, and they can decide and pick who they want to play for, where they want to go, how they want to be played. And then they try to get to the NBA, and they try to do the same, and then it doesn't work.
That's why it's unfortunate, but I feel like that's kind of becoming like a culture.
That is the norm.
That is the culture in the NBA nowadays.
That is the norm. That is the norm. And I don't know if it's fixable. I really don't. I think that's sort of just the standard that's been set. That's what we're going to see for the foreseeable future. The negativity is poor, but it's a individualized environment. Excited to see how these players turn out. But, when something doesn't go right and they request a trade, then what are we going to turn to at that point? At 2 years into their career. Let's finish out number 5.
Number 5.
With the NBA draft having such a confusing layout with all the trades and mistakes, what's the one thing you will change about the NBA draft?
If I could choose one thing, it would be the hats, right? Would you agree with that, Damien? Would that be your number one thing? I'd pick the logos. Make it simple to read. That would be the number one thing. If there's a second thing, I'd make it one day.
And be held to higher standards. I feel like those small mistakes that you think people don't notice, I think those are the ones that need to be corrected.
Good point. I think people, you can't. It doesn't work for. You're talking about a television product now. The draft 20 years ago wasn't as much of a television product as it is now. Now you got NBA draft countdown, you have NBA draft reaction, you have live reporters, analysts on site, you have former players on site. You sell out an arena, for Christ's sake. Because of that, I think you have to be cognizant of what is confusing to the casual fan and what's not. What was confusing was you have no idea who's picking, you have no idea who's going where. And that is such an obvious, easy fix. Do that. Do that tomorrow. That was our 5 and 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union. Looking forward to this because on the flip side, we're going to hear from somebody who coached on the Dream Team, who was underneath Mike Krzyzewski on that 1992 run, who is somebody who brought Seton Hall to a national championship game in 1989, lost to Michigan, the Glenn Rice Michigan team. And in that run, he beat the Leitner Duke team when Leitner was a sophomore in the Final Four. He beat the UNLV team who won a national championship the following year. And he beat a Bobby Knight-led Indiana team that was pretty good 3 years removed from a national title. We're going to talk to Coach P.J. Carlissimo, who, of course, went to Portland, went to San Antonio, went to Golden State, has coached all around the NBA, and had a pretty storied career. He's been around the league for 40 years. You could hear him tonight on the ESPN network radio coverage, which you could hear of the NBA draft tonight, ESPN 106.3. And we're going to talk to him on the flip side of things. Stick around for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. PJ Carlissimo coming up right here on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
A resort destination beyond compare, yet conveniently close to home. The Breakers Palm Beach offers everything you desire with the service you deserve in a breathtaking oceanfront setting. Immerse yourself in unparalleled seaside glamour and enjoy all the Breakers has to offer as you create lasting memories with those who matter most. The best part, you don't have to travel far to feel worlds away. Visit thebreakers.com or call 1-800-BREAKERS today.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new 2025 Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful 2025 Defender 110 P300S for just $889 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
F45 Training in downtown West Palm and Wellington offers functional group fitness classes reimagined. F45 features high-intensity group-style workouts that are fast, fun, and results-driven. They always have the right workout for you. The best part is, it takes just 45 minutes. If you're looking to train for something like High Rocks, F45 has you covered with tailored workouts. Get started today with a promo of your first 3 classes for just $30. Visit F45training.com to find a studio near you and officially join the F45 family. F45, team training, life-changing.
Serving clients for over 30 years, Team IP has been the #1 souvenir merchandiser in the U.S., proudly powering over 2,800 events and 24 college football bowl games every year, including ESPN, ESPN events, and the Boca Raton Bowl, right here in South Florida. From custom apparel to branded promo gear, we bring your event to life. Want to boost your brand? Visit teamip.com and make Team IP your team today. Teamwork makes the dream work.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar & Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies, and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar & Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Palm, kicking things off. Got a little NBA draft second round tonight. You can hear it right here on ESPN 106.3, ESPN Radio. Joined now by one of the guys you can hear on the actual coverage of the draft. He is the head coach, former head coach of Seton Hall. He's been around the NBA, worked under Coach Greg Popovich at the Spurs. He was a part of the Dream Team. Somebody who's had a storied career in basketball. It's Coach PJ Carlesimo joining us now. Coach PJ, how we doing today? What's going on?
I'm doing great. It's great to be with you for sure. I look forward to it. Scrambling a little bit here in Brooklyn. That final series went a little longer than we thought it was going to go, so I kind of was catching up to the draft a little later than I normally am. But last night went a little long, but it went well. I'm looking forward to tonight. There's some good people still left.
Absolutely. A lot of players still to be picked. And, Coach, you mentioned that the season went long because we had 7 games in the finals. The Oklahoma City Thunder, their first championship, I guess rebranded as OKC. You, of course, tenured in your – I guess the start of Oklahoma City when they shifted from Seattle to Oklahoma City. You were there with Sam Presti, who was with you at the Spurs. Give me a little sense of the reaction. Was this expected that they were going to put it together? It's been a masterclass of putting together a roster. Give me your thoughts there.
Well, it was this year for sure. I mean, they were the best. They were clearly the best team in the NBA, basically from day one. They was a complete rebuild. Sam broke it down a couple of years back and made a couple of great moves, which he's been doing basically since he took over. He started actually in Seattle as I did back in 2007, and so he's been there 18 years, which again is kind of a lesson. Clay Bennett, the owner, they were great. They've stayed with Sam. He certainly had a lot of success over those 18 years. But if you look around, other than a San Antonio or Miami, down your way, there aren't too many teams that have the patience to hire a really talented person and then let him or her, do what they hired him to do. And OKC did that. So that's part of the lesson. But a couple of years back when Sam broke it down, he hired Mark Daigneault, which was a great hire. He's an exceptional young coach. Reminds me a little bit of Spo, as a matter of fact. And just gave him the time to build it. They were terrible the first couple of years because it was a rebuild, but he had coached the Oklahoma City Blue. He had actually he came to OKC from Florida, from working with Billy Donovan at the University of Florida. Before that, he worked with Ralph Willard at Holy Cross, and he got a couple of players. They made a great deal in getting, obviously, SGA, and then they had some really good draft picks, really young guys, and they let them play. They let them make mistakes, and last year it started to come together. I think they were a number one seed. Maybe there was a three-way tie atop the West, but they had a really good year, got beat in the second round. The feeling was maybe a little too young and maybe not as much rebounding and size up front to really get it done. And then again, Sam went out and made a couple of two excellent additions. Signed Isaiah Hartenstein from the Knicks and Alex Caruso from the Bulls. And that was kind of like the missing pieces combined with, all those really talented young guys getting another year older. They haven't looked back since. I mean, they won 68 in the regular season. They won that magic number of 16 in the postseason, and they've been a dominant team in the league the whole year. Defensively, they're one of the best defensive teams I think I've ever seen in the NBA. I know that's a crazy statement, but I'm telling you what, they guard 94 feet. They have exceptional quickness. They have shot blocking. They're really, really good, and they feed off that offense, and they've got that defense, and they got an interesting combination, which you very seldom see anywhere, much less in the NBA. They're number one in the league themselves in fewest turnovers. They take great care of the ball themselves, and they're number one in the league in turnovers forced for their opponents. So that turnover advantage they have virtually every game, and they're so good at scoring points off turnovers that really they had too much for everybody. Indiana did a much better job than I thought. I didn't think it would go 7 games. Pacers did a great job, and obviously having to play without Tyrese in that Game 7, Tyrese Halliburton was a big factor, but I still think OKC was the best team in the league, and I think it's a little bit scary. They're so young, and they're so talented, and they're so well-positioned, even, towards the second apron. Right now, they'll end up probably with 3 max players. I don't know what they're going to do when they have to, sign up Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren, but boy, they're in good shape right now. And it was really special, the atmosphere in the city of OKC, and, culminating with that parade yesterday.
And Coach P.J. Carlissimo joining us now on ESPN West Palm. Coach, you mentioned something about Dagnall, coming from, he was on the Florida staff. He went from college and then he coached in the G League. It's a kind of a peculiar route, but somebody going from college to the NBA, that's something you could relate to. Of course, with your career, Wagner, Seton Hall, and then you went up to Portland. Making that shift, I wanted to talk about you for a second. Was that, I guess, the jump? Was it, I want a bigger challenge with the NBA? Is it the NBA comes calling, you can't say no? Shifting from college to the NBA, give me a little thought. A sense behind the thought process.
It was something that I never really expected. It just it happened. Brad Greenberg was the acting general manager at the time in Portland, and we were going good at Seton Hall. It was a good time. I obviously spent a lot of time with your father back there, and really was enjoying it. I never really thought of coaching in the NBA, and Brad called and said Paul Allen, the late Paul Allen, who was the owner, great owner of the Trailblazers at the time. I think he had in his mind a college coach was a good addition. I don't think it was me. I think it might have been I never found out who it was. I'm thinking it might have been Larry Brown or someone like that. So it was just when I went out, Brad called me up and said, why don't you come out for an interview? I really liked Portland because we had a kid, Mark Bryant, who was our best player at Seton Hall, playing for the Trailblazers at that time. I had a great feel for the city of Portland because I'd been involved with Nike for a long time. Sonny Vaccaro signed me up way back in the late 70s when I was at Wagner. So I liked Portland. I just thought it was good. I went out. I really didn't think I was going to be a serious candidate for the job. And kind of in the middle of the interview, Paul excused himself from the room for a little bit, and there was only two other people there, Brad and Bert Cold, who's Paul's longtime assistant, right arm, really. And they came back in, and Paul sticks his hand out and goes, "You're my coach." And I was like, wow. It was like it happened so quickly, I couldn't believe it. So it got me into the league. It was fantastic. Unlike most college coaches that have gotten NBA jobs, I had a good team. Most coaches get like a expansion team or, a team with a really poor record. It was the opposite there. We were in transition clearly.
They traded Drexler, right?
3 years there, we moved on. But
yeah.
when I first got there, we still had Clyde Drexler, Terry Porter, Buck Williams, Jerome Kersey. We had four of the, stalwarts of all the excellent Portland teams. So we were able to make the playoffs, 3 straight years. We won 49 the last year. And, kind of got, surprised a little bit. We thought we had it going pretty well, but it was a great transition into the league. And unfortunately, most college guys, when they get the job, really struggle. And in a sense, that's what happened with Mark. Didn't struggle because they hired him to coach the Oklahoma City Blue in the G League, and he did an excellent job. And he was there with Billy as Billy's assistant. And then when Billy went to Chicago, they hired Mark, and at the same time, it was when they, broke the team down. So they knew they weren't going to be a good team, and he was coaching a lot of the guys that he had coached at the Blue, and when he was assistant coach, young, talented guys that they thought would eventually become good players. And it's a great lesson. And how the NBA is such a copycat league, so you can bet you're going to see more of that. You're going to see more of these young guys coming in and player development being really an important facet of building the team, and hopefully patience. So, coaches get a few years to do their job, not the carousel that we're kind of used to in the NBA.
Well, Coach, last thing I want to get your thoughts on before we jump to the draft. Speaking of a carousel, the New York Knicks. I mean, do they have a Mark Daigneault waiting in the ringer? I mean, what is their plan going to be from your perspective?
Well, I don't think they know what their plan is, so there's no way I could know what it is. I'm not sure what they're doing there. I think they made a mistake. I think Tom Thibodeau is not a good coach. He's an excellent coach. They had more success than they've had in the last 25 years. They're in the conference finals in the East, and for whatever reason, they always, when it's over, you always spin it whatever way you want. The players weren't happy, this, that, and the other. He didn't use his bench enough, whatever. I don't know whether it was the basketball people that made the decision or it was ownership, but I don't think it was a good decision. If you're going to make a decision like that, let go a guy that's clearly one of the proven successful coach in the NBA. You better have another plan, and it doesn't seem like they have a plan. I mean, they're calling other teams that have coaches under contract, trying to pry them loose, which is a little bit of a strange way to go about getting your next coach. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's still a very talented roster. It's obviously the Knicks are one of the great franchises in the NBA, even though they haven't had a lot of success recently until Tibbs had gotten there. So I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't. They're interviewing some good people right now. They've got some good candidates since they've, I think, stopped calling other teams trying to get their coaches. Yeah. And, they're looking at hiring a good coach, but it's not, we're up here in New York right now getting ready for the draft, and it's a big story, and it's not a positive story right now, but we'll see what they end up with.
Coach PJ Carlissimo, ESPN West Palm, with us now. Coach, we got two former FAU guys who were on that storied Final Four team from a couple of years ago. Elijah Martin out of Florida, who was the starter on that championship team, and Vlad Golden, the Michigan center, who played right next to Danny Wolf, who was drafted yesterday. Two guys who might get their names called tonight. I wanted to get your thoughts a little bit. Coming from FAU, they played for Dusty May, who's a good coach now at Michigan, was at FAU. I mean, give me your thoughts on getting a noted champion like Elijah Martin, or somebody who has been to a Final Four, a kind of stereotypical big like Vlad Golden. Give me your thoughts there.
Well, I think, first of all, I'll talk about Dusty May. I got to know Dusty, did not know him well, got to know him in the Final Four at Houston, if my memory is correct.
That wasn't Houston, because UConn won that year. Yep.
Yeah, worked for Westwood One for the NCAA tournament every year, so I get to work all 3 weeks of the tournament, and, of course, had Dusty in Houston when he got that team to the Final Four. And so I had a chance to get to know him and have, followed him more closely since then, and now consider him a friend. He just did an exceptional job at Michigan. Elijah, I got a chance to see him because, again, working for Westwood One, happened to have the West region along with Ryan Radke. So we had Florida. It was with Todd Golden, of course, last night at the draft. We had Florida for their 2 wins, good games too, in San Francisco, and then the 2 really good wins, in the Final Four in San Antonio. So I know Elijah a little bit better, have seen him more. I think he's going to be a good pick. I'll be shocked if he doesn't go fairly early in the second round. He knows how to play. He's a good basketball player. Obviously, he's been well coached. Tremendous experience, what he's been through in his college career. So I think he's a great fit. And last night when we interviewed Danny Wolf after he was drafted, obviously one of the things we talked about is one of the most unique pick and roll combinations I think you've ever had in college basketball was him and Vlad, and what they did, the way Dusty used those 2 bigs, in that program. I mean, you got a new coach, a lot of new players, and he just really was pushing the right buttons. And Vlad just showed his versatility. Everybody in the NBA loves bigs who can play away from the basket. The more you can open up the floor, the more you have bigs who have other skills, be it passing or shooting or, even the screen and the roll guy. So many guys, they call it the high roll where you hit a guy and then he makes another pass. That pick and roll was basically not defensible this year in the Big Ten. Vlad and Danny Wolf were so good with it. So, again, I think the skill set is one that will translate very well to the NBA. And, it's not a stigma, but, I didn't get drafted in the first round. I drafted in the second round. There are some exceptional players playing in the NBA who were second. We had Manu Ginobili. Obviously, I think Jalen Brunson was a second rounder. Nikola was a second rounder, if I'm not mistaken. Jokic. So, there's great, really talented players in the NBA that were drafted in the second round. I'm not saying these guys are going to be, as good as the guys I'm mentioning, but I think they have a chance to have solid NBA careers. So I'm looking forward to watching tonight and seeing if their names are called and by what team.
Coach, last thing here. I appreciate you giving us the time. Is there that name that is you're waiting to be called? When you get called, you're going to say that team just got a steal. Is there somebody that pops to mind tonight in the second round of the NBA draft?
Well, I think there's a number of guys. The thing that's interesting and one of the common things of this, the players that are left, you've got a number of, they're calling them older guys, but guys that played 3, 4, 5 years in college. So I think some of them, it's going to be really interesting to watch, who are the ones that end up getting drafted, because I think you've seen a little bit more of that, more recently in the NBA where, everybody wants the 18-year-old guy with the high ceiling. And I understand that, and it makes sense, but there's something to be said. Walter Clayton was one that went, early last night, but he was kind of the exception. There were more the younger guys, even the international guys, more guys you're betting on. When you look at, guys like Janai Broom or the different play, you mentioned Elijah, Cam Jones from Marquette, Tanji from Wisconsin. There's guys that have really proven players throughout their career. The one guy that I was really surprised did not go last night was Rasheer Fleming. I would think he's going to be one of the absolute first ones to go tonight. I was a little surprised that he didn't go. There's always, somebody that doesn't, but from St. Joe's, I think he's going to be one of the first names called in the second round. But it's not going to surprise me if one or two of these, they call them super seniors now, but guys that played, with the combination of COVID or red shirt or whatever it is, some of these guys that played 3, 4, 5, I think there's even like a 6-year college career. And rather than, people saying, oh, he's too old, you don't, they're ready to play. I think if they get with the right team, I think a couple of these guys may surprise and play a little bit better. They may not have the spectacular height and quickness and all the stuff that they, do at the combine. But they've proven over the course of 4 or 5 years, and they've improved, and they know how to play basketball, so they fit in. So I'm thinking we may see some of these veteran college, I'm calling them veteran college players, multi-year college players. I think some of them may go on and have good NBA careers.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Looking forward to hearing you tonight on draft coverage, and I appreciate you giving us a little sense into your career and what to expect tonight. All right, well, hopefully we'll talk again soon and get you on one time.
Great being with you. Thank you very much.
You got it. Coach PJ Carlissimo, you hear him tonight on ESPN draft coverage right here on ESPN Radio. Colin Russo taking the time out here on ESPN West Palm.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 1063.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, Joe Fortenbaugh here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sportsbook for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with the promo code JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
The pricing you've been waiting for is back at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Get a new 2026 Kia Sportage for $249 a month, a 2025 Kia K4 for $199 a month, or a 2024 Kia Telluride for as low as $38,998. Save up to $11,000 off MSRP on select new Kias and get up to $6,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade-in. Job bringing home $350 per week? We want to approve your credit. Call 800-NEW-KIAs or visit greenwaykia@westpalmbeach.com for the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. Make the most of your summer.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
With approval through KFA, stock number SG005991. MSRP $45,235. 24-month leases. K4 $39.99. Sportage $39.99 due at signing. 10,000 miles each per year. 0 security deposit plus tax tag and $9.99 admin fee. Discount includes all Kia factory rebates to dealer. Negative equity refinanced. Offers don't combine. Expires July 15th, 25.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Thursday, June 26, 2025. Russo and Rizzo rolling on here with Colin Russo. No Mike Rizzo today. He's away at a wedding up in Colorado. We got Damian Price behind the glass at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. If you missed any of the interview with PJ Carlissimo previously, go listen. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, or go to YouTube at ESPN West Palm and watch back the show. You can listen to it full. All Russo and Rizzo episodes uploaded in full catalog format. So nice and easy. Well, we're about 80 games, 81 games into the MLB regular season. Halfway point officially, close to it, right about. Mid-June, late June is usually that where we start talking about trade deadline stuff. But now that we're at the halfway point, Damian, I want to have some fun here because we're going to need to make some declarations. I am not a proponent of making declarations about teams 20 games in. I'm not a proponent of making declarations of a team even 50 games in. But when you're 80 games into a season, you really have a sense of how good, how bad, how disappointing the trajectory of certain teams. It takes a lot. Sometimes a team, a month to get started throughout the MLB season. Sometimes they get started in June. There's going to be teams now that we're not going to bring up that might be big-time playoff teams 3 months from now. So keep that in mind. What we're going to do, we're going to do three things here, Damian. We're going to go through, we're going to give an MVP of each league at the halfway point. An MVP of each league. We're going to give the best team of each league. And then we're going to give our most disappointing team each. Does that work?
Let's do it.
Let's start with the thing we're probably going to agree on first. My opinion right now, the AL MVP, this is the interesting one because a lot of people want to say Cal Riley, leading the league in home runs, who has had an absurd last month of baseball, who has 32 home runs right now. If there's anybody that could beat Judge in the department of the AL MVP, at this very point, it's him. I still don't think he has Judge yet. Why? Because Judge is hitting 360. And Cal Raleigh, I believe, is hitting 288. It's 278 it might be. So because of that, I don't think the 70 points in batting, he's hitting 277. But Judge, on the other hand, is hitting 360. Also, Judge is somebody who is completely pitched around in his lineup. I think, you know what Judge is having to me? He's having a bit of a Jokic year. He's a multi-time MVP. We know how great he is. Everybody's almost used to how great he is.
I think people are just like numb to it.
And he's
at this
playing
point.
the best baseball of his career. And you almost can't give him enough credit for it because of what he has done previously. He's not going to break the home run record, but he's playing all around. He is hitting the ball best all around this year compared to the end of the year. I think I would give Aaron Judge, if it ended today, I think I'd give Aaron Judge the MVP. Are you on that team? Or
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. The thing about Cal is Cal's a catcher. That is a immensely valuable position defensively. So for somebody who has 32 home runs and 70 RBIs at the halfway point, he's on pace to break Babe Ruth's record. But as a catcher, you got to give him a little leg up in the defensive department on top of that. That I could agree with. But, I mean, if I think about what I value, all-around hitting, I think triumphs there, especially for somebody who is hitting 360. And this guy was hitting 400 just until about the start of May. Now, NL MVP could go a couple different directions. You could go the easy direction, go the home run leader, and just take Ohtani. Oh, he's leading with 27 home runs. I think I'd go Pete Crow Armstrong from the Chicago Cubs.
Those are my two.
That was probably where I'd lean. Up-and-comer, sort of I'm going against my own opinion of what I said previously about voter fatigue. I think I'm breaking my own precedent. But I think I'd give it to Pete Crow Armstrong. The team has surprised a lot of people. They're 15 games above 500. They're going to be a big-time playoff team if that offense stays on. And he's been the best player on the Cubs. He's got 61 RBIs. He's had a terrific season.
21 home runs.
23. He's 22 years old. 23 years old. I'd go either Armstrong, or if you want to go chalk, you could go Ohtani. The thing about both those players is I don't think Raleigh, maybe even Armstrong, are going to be able to keep up consistent hitting like we know Ohtani and Judge can. That's the problem.
Yeah, and a key factor is that Ohtani's also starting to pitch again.
I know.
So that'll work in his favor as well.
A couple good starts before the end of the year.
Might as well seal it.
That will seal it. Ohtani gives you 3 starts before the end of the year.
He looked good on his last start, too.
Yeah,
the first one was
they're giving him an inning. But
Yeah.
yes, but you're right. I mean, maybe he starts ramping it up and starts to 3-4 innings. Maybe they're just using him for bullpen games and keep him maxed at 4 or 5 innings. But if he starts pitching consistently and pitching well consistently, I don't know how you look anywhere else for somebody who already has 30 homers. He's going to finish with 55 homers. He's going to finish with 50-plus homers again. You're going to have 4 guys who have finished with 50-plus homers. I don't know. Right now, I'd give it to Pete Crow Armstrong if it ended today. But if I'm going to make a prediction, I think you're going to see Ohtani and Judge again because you're looking at, by far, the 2 best baseball players in the league. That would be my perspective. Now, all right, let's go league by league here. Let's start with the easy one, in my opinion. The American League. Best team. Where are you heading on this one?
I got the Detroit Tigers.
You got the Tigers as well.
MLB leading, 10-game, leading that AL Central.
I think I'd go to Tigers as well.
Yep.
I think that's an easy one, right? Think about the Yankees for a second. They're 46-34. They got a great run differential. They've scored a lot, but they've been inconsistent. They've showed the Yankee woes.
They're in a massive slump. I feel like they go as far as Aaron Judge takes.
That's the problem. That's the problem. If he doesn't go 2 for 4, 4 RBIs and 2 home runs, they need a major lift offensively from somebody else, and they'd never get it. That's the problem. But on other teams, Detroit is a little bit of an all-hands-on deck. They got a little better pitching. They got Skubal, probably the best pitcher in the league at the moment. I think Detroit, being 51-31 at this point, has been not the best overachiever, but the best achiever thus far this season. And Houston has surprised some people as well. Quietly, 48 wins. I would give it to Detroit as well. All right, NL. A lot of different directions you could go here. NL best team for you, Damien. Who is it?
The Los Angeles Dodgers.
You're going Dodgers here? I don't think I'm going to go Dodgers here. I don't think I'm going Dodgers here. Go ahead.
I mean, 50-31. You got Ohtani, which is a unicorn. He's starting to pitch.
By far the most talented team. By
deep
far.
roster. I mean, why would I pick against the Dodgers?
By far the most talented team. My best team, I think by the end of the year, is going to be the Dodgers. But right now, based on what we've seen so far this year, I hate doing it because I took their under. And I know they've played awfully, but I'm doing an 80-game sample size. I think the Mets are going to get my answer.
Wow. That's interesting because I remember you being very
anti-Mets.
in favor.
I was under that under. It was a 91.5. I took that under with flying colors. They haven't been great on the road, but they've been excellent in that build in Citi Field. Juan Soto hasn't even played that well. He's played well the last couple weeks.
He's picking it up now.
He's playing much better the last couple weeks, but he hasn't had a good 80-game season thus far. Their pitching has been dominant. I think I'd give it to the Mets. If anything, the Dodgers, after starting 8-0, or what were they, 9-0, something like that? They're 50-31. So what is that, 42-31 since?
Yep.
It's not that good. That's not that good. And their team with depleted pitching, I think I'd give it to the Mets. I could listen to Philadelphia, but in terms of surpassing expectations, the Mets are 2-8 in their last 10. So without that, they were much better than what they are now. They're only 13 games above 500 because that's the NL's gauntlet. But I would give the Mets my best team of the first half of the 2025 MLB season. I think that's risky, but in terms of what the expectations were and what they have done, especially without Soto being an MVP, I don't think that's crazy to say. I don't think that's crazy to say. All right. Let's have some now I'm going to let this could be anything for now. Most disappointing team. We're not going to go each league. Most disappointingly team.
This one's easy for me.
Period. Who are you looking at?
The Baltimore Orioles. 22-36.
Fired their manager.
Dead last in the AL
50,
East.
52 games into the year.
Probably one of the worst bullpens, offensive regressions from their top players. I mean, everywhere you look at it, you mentioned it. They fired their head coach. They fired their manager. It's easy for me. The Baltimore Orioles. After a good season that they had last year, I feel like the expectations were there for this season.
I think the Baltimore Orioles is a good answer because of the offense that they had. But the thing is, they got worse in the offseason. I wasn't expecting a big time season.
And they're in a tough
out of them.
division, too.
Tough division. I wasn't expecting a lot coming out of them. My most disappointing team, I hate saying it, it's my team. Took their over. I'm doing this sounds emotional because I took these overs. The Oakland A's.
Yeah.
I said Oakland because they are the Oakland A's. 33-50. They were 22-20.
Yep. I remember.
They were 22-20. They went on a 14-game losing streak to follow that up. They won 1-19 to follow up that 20-game stretch. They've gone 11-30 since that date. 11-30. They beat the Dodgers like 11-6. I remember the game. And since then, they've went 11-30. That, to me, is my most disappointing team. And that's not me saying that because I'm a fan of them. It's me saying that because they have too much talent. They had the guy who's second in the American League in batting average. I mean, I guess you consider all of it. He's the second in the MLB batting average. Jacob Wilson, who's a rookie, by the way. They have a lot of hitting. They have enough talent. They finally spent money in the offseason, and they're 33-50. By far, my most disappointed team. You can't be 22-20 and show me a sliver of hope. I believe the over-under was 74.5. That's a pulse check. Unbelievable. I wasn't asking for much. 75 wins. Are they going to get 65? That's my most disappointed.
It was 71.5. I know because I have a ticket for that as well.
71.5. You took him too?
Yep.
Did you take him because of me, or did you already have him?
I took him. It was the one show where you and Mike were giving out. It was right before the season started. I believe it was the week of the MLB opening day.
Right.
You guys gave a long season parlay, and I shouted it. And honestly, it's looking great. It's just that Athletics pick that's kind of
the Athletics pick. Well, I took the Red Sox. The Red Sox are fine. I took the Red Sox.
Slow start, but they've picked it up.
They've been all right. I mean, they've had a lot of injuries. They're about sitting around 500. I need them to go 3 or 4 games above 500. I'm not totally worried about that. But, I mean, my Oakland A's pick and my Mets pick, a lot of trouble.
Oh,
a lot of trouble.
You ended up taking the under.
And you know who I also took? I took the D-backs over, and who were playing great, and then Corbin, their whole pitching staff went down. I'm having a bad year. MLB over-unders. And that's after I went 4-0 in basketball, and I was, writing home. That's brutal. That's brutal. Maybe I get a late season turnaround. Speaking of that, you know a team that I think could have a late season turnaround, start picking it up here, is Kansas City. Kansas City is 38-43, about at the midway point.
Who were just swept by the A's, by the way.
Just swept by the A's. I could see them turning it around a little bit, weirdly enough. A couple young rookies in that, in the arms that just got called up. They called up Caglione. They got Witt there. If there's a team, it's going to be in the AL who could start running through teams and getting hot at the right time, a la Detroit last year. Kansas City would be my call.
How about the Braves? Where are you with the Braves? With
I think they'll be all right.
37-42 record. They've definitely underperformed.
I know, and they started 0-8.
Yep.
They are going to be okay. They got a weird dynamic with the team right now. Pitching has been very spotty, but I would say that banking on just the talent alone on that team, and Matt Olson's quietly having another 35 home run, 100 RBI year. I would give the Braves that chance of bouncing back and having a big second half. They're not going to win the division, but to steal a wild card spot, nobody would want to see Atlanta in a wild card situation, 3 months from now, if it came down to it. Nobody would want to see Atlanta, which is why I think that team's dangerous. Another big disappointment for me, this is my team to be the representation, to win the AL pennant, the Texas Rangers. Fired their hitting coach. They can't. Their pitching has been up and down, hasn't been totally healthy, but it's really the bats that have been awful. Awful. They have been terrible. That was my team that I thought was going to represent the American League. I thought it was going to be them, the Red Sox. And they're 40-41. Can't deal with that. I don't like that at all. The Texas Rangers have not been playing well at all. They're 5-5 in the last 10. But point being, that might be my second most disappointing team. Texas Rangers and the Oakland A's both happen to be at the bottom of the AL West.
I'll tell you who hasn't disappointed this year. The Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, Cubs have blown out. I didn't buy it, too, because I don't trust their pitching, and I was at the game. Have you been up to Chicago?
No, I have
you
not.
been? Oh, it's great. Wrigley's great.
I remember you mentioned you were very excited to go to Wrigley.
Very excited. And you know what I love about it? It's got the best surrounding area of a ballpark that I've ever been to in the MLB. So, I've been around, and I've only been to 12, 13 parks. But, I've been to Oracle, I've been to Petco, I've been to Coors Field, I've been to Lone Depot down in Miami. I've been to Fenway, I've been to Yankee Stadium, I've been to most of the American Family Field in Milwaukee. There is not a better surrounding neighborhood than Wrigley.
It's like they all buy into it.
They all buy into it. It's neighborhoods, fun bars, restaurants.
Similar to how the Packers do it.
It's accessible. It's easy to get there. It's got a homey vibe to it. Historic. Really was impressed with Wrigley. Really was. MLB, temperature check about halfway through the season. Big thanks to Damian Price for keeping us up over the air. We got Theo Dorsey coming back right after this, actually, live from Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium up in Jupiter, so stay tuned for that. Little baseball action. Theo Dorsey will be there for that. My name is Colin Russo saying so long. Russo and Rizzo will be back at it tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. Miss any of the program, go listen back, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, at Russo and Rizzo. But we're taking time out. Say so long. See you tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. right here on ESPN 106.3.
Get ready, South Florida. It's the 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl. Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at FAU's Flagler Credit